meditation service. It's 10 a.m. on the Pacific Coast, and that means it's time for meditation. Actually, throughout the entire day, it's time for meditation. But right now, we're going to do it as a group, coming together as we practice a stillness meditation. And remembering that there are many forms of meditation, but the thing that they share in common is that communion with Spirit is the intention. Communion with God, communion with our soul. To make it very personal, when we meditate, we make bliss and joy and peace and love very personal. And that is what we want to make personal. We don't want to make things of the temporal personal. We want to make things of the eternal personal. And so that's what we're going to do. So I welcome you to our meditation service for about the next 25, 27 minutes. We're going to go into, some call it the dream time, as you awaken to revelation. We're going to move into that space of communion, which just requires that you relax. The more you relax, with the intention that you're staying in a lucid state of divine awareness. So there's sometimes that sweet spot is I start to relax, I'm calming down, and then the sweet spot before you fall asleep, that's where we're looking for. So we're not looking to fall asleep, we're not looking to just relax, but we're using relaxation to move into communion. It is super easy. I know that many think that the chattering mind makes it difficult. But we're also going to set the intention that if the mind chatters, we're not going to make it bad or wrong. We're just going to allow ourselves to know that we just keep coming back to center. Our regular service with our music and message, and I am just super happy today to have Lacey Johnson as our musical inspiration, starts in just under a half an hour at 10:30 Pacific time. So hold on for that. In the meantime, I'm going to invite you to get comfortable. Find a nice place to sit. And if for any reason you're laying down, at the very least, bring yourself into a bit of an incline so that your upper body is rising up as much as feels comfortable. And then, there are different ideas about whether you should have any parts of your body crossed or uncrossed. And the intentions back of that is, if they're uncrossed, that's just symbolic of everything being open, all the flowing chi, channels and meridians open to that life force. And if they are crossed, that is also fine. We will still have that intention. Whatever feels right and good to you. And I definitely invite you to experiment with that and experiment with all the various types of meditation. We're going to start our stillness meditation today creating coherence. Creating coherence, if you were to see the flow of life force that comes from the invisible, inaudible, eternal, as it makes its way into the manifest world, into space-time, it follows a pattern. There's an energy that comes down from the very heart, the very mind of God. Sometimes we call it life force or chi or prana, untainted brilliance. It mingles and tingles with your soul star, which is above your crown at the north pole of your energy field. And that's the energy of your soul. That is the personal, unique variation of the divine that has showed up as you. And it is brilliant. And that energy makes its way down into your crown, through your third eye, through your throat, into your heart center. That's where we're going to begin. Creating coherence. The heart understands the language of the soul. And when the heart communicates that language to the mind, then we're in coherence. So we're going to allow ourselves to be in coherence. So this morning I'm going to invite you to join me for just a few moments, or maybe a minute or so. And I'm going to invite you to take your right hand and reach up to your soul star, which is at the upper outer edge, the north pole of your energy field. And if you don't have the ability to do that for whatever reason, you got a crick in your shoulder or something like that, then just imagine you're doing so. Imagine you're touching your soul star. And then bring your left hand onto your heart center. And we're going to begin with just feeling an energy, a connection between the heart and soul, between the soul and the heart. Feel that energy as it begins to make its way down. It is omnipresent, so it's always there. But in space-time, we follow things as they flow into form. So we're going to follow the flow as it makes its way down into your heart. Then I'm going to invite you to bring your right hand onto your heart center as we seal the energy and the cohesion. I'm going to invite you to then bring your left hand up to your third eye, with the intention that we are connecting the heart with the third eye and the crown, creating cohesion and connection with the heart, the crown, and the third eye. And just allow ourselves, we're creating a tactile experience of cohesion. And then I'm going to invite you to go ahead and release your hands and allow them to rest wherever they feel comfortable. Whether they're resting on your thighs with your palms up, whether you're in a heart or heart link mudra, just thumb and middle finger, whatever feels right and good to you, as we prepare to go even deeper and begin. As always, we begin by giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves and our minds, I give myself permission to relax and enjoy communion with my soul, with God. We take a moment and without changing anything at all, we bring our awareness to our breath and our breathing with the intention of allowing it to become fuller and deeper and fresher and wider. No efforting, just intending, allowing and observing. I invite you to bring your awareness to your crown and just feel and allow it to open even more, deliberately to inspiration, to illumination, and the brilliance of your soul and the mind of God. I invite you to bring your awareness back to your soul star at the top of your energy field. And feel the energy, the coherence we created. Feel the energy as you inhale, coming in through your crown into your heart from your soul star. And as you exhale, you feel it travel back from your heart to your soul. A wave of energy, a wave of light. You might just feel it as tingles, traveling up and down, back and forth, amplifying the cohesion, the connection. And then letting that flow and glow all on its own as you bring your awareness now to your third eye and your crown. feel the energy connection between your heart, your third eye, and your crown. You'll begin to notice a wave traveling up and down, back and forth, between the heart, the third eye, and the crown. We finish the circuit of illumination and inspiration by allowing the soul to fill and thrill the heart to inform the mind. And we move into a place of cohesion, coherence, and availability. We avail ourselves by relaxing, observing. We take a moment and we allow ourselves to let go of any distractions. We let go of figuring and analyzing. We let go of efforting and trying. We let go of time. We choose right now to let go of energetic connections to the past. Let go of energetic projections to the future. We don't need to know what we're doing in 1 minute, 1 hour, or 1 week. We let go. We even let go of any tethers or ties to the present. As we open our hearts, our bodies, our emotions, and our minds even more to the holy light. We take a moment and you feel the energy of the light, the life force that is pouring down through your soul, start to your heart, beginning to overflow. Light as weightlessness and luminosity, softening and strength, expanding every morsel and muscle, every cell and tissue throughout your entire body temple. I invite you to see yourself seated or standing, your body fully illuminated with light. And this light begins to nourish every organ as the perfect blueprint of homeostatic, radiant wellness. At the core of every cell and gene begins to shine. You can feel that luminosity throughout your entire body temple, from your toes to your nose and everywhere in between. That energy begins to flood into your emotional body, purifying and cleansing, recalibrating, and returning your emotional body to its perfect blueprint. Powerful, deep, unwavering compassion, love and understanding, divine strength, peace. This energy begins to reverberate and flow out into the mental body as the cohesion with the soul becomes even more profound as you feel waves of clarity, aligning and attuning at the surface mind, no longer distracted, merging with the higher mind, beyond words, beyond thoughts, beyond judgments, energy of illumination and radiance, of brilliance and beauty, rising as you feel the presence and the energy of your bliss body, the energy of your soul. The energy of the wisdom of divine intelligence, personalized as your life, unique, holy, and pure. We return home. We return home into this light, and we allow ourselves to simply relax, rest, rejuvenate in the stillness. And should your mind wander, simply bring it back to the breath of life. Feel yourself inhaling the energy from the heart of God through your soul star into your heart, and exhaling it back. And now we simply be still. heart, the mind of God. Through and as your soul into your heart. Inhaling that energy and feeling it amplify. As we allow enthusiasm, as we allow joy and divine expectancy, as we allow inspiration and illumination to take us even higher into the purity of desire, the desires of the soul. We take a moment and I invite you to bring your awareness down to the south pole of your energy field, to your Earth Star, your 10th chakra. If you were standing, you'd see it about 1 meter beneath the bottoms of your feet. Maybe a little bit more. Wherever you feel it, wherever you sense it, just become aware. And on your next inhalation, inhale the energy as it comes in through your soul star all the way down to your Earth Star, where we begin to ground peace and love, wellness and goodness, personalizing. We ground and we personalize the divine, the soul's desires, drawing it all the way down, inhaling it down to your Earth Star, exhaling, feeling it rise up through your feet, your legs, your thighs, your hips, your torso, your shoulders, your neck and crown, back through your soul. Feeling oneness, feeling the infinite eternal energies as they not only radiate, but fortify and amplify within your body temple more homeostatic brilliance, within your emotional body more compassion and divine strength, within your mental body more clarity, optimism, faith, inspiration, revelation. We allow these energies to overwhelm us. We simply return home. And as we make our way back into a lucid state of divine awareness, that we see with God's eyes, hear with God's ears, know with a higher awareness, a divine mind, we take a moment in deep and abiding gratitude, knowing that something magnificent has taken place, and that we choose to only and always expand, to hold more good than ever before. We increase our divine energy quotient by grounding it. And we allow divine right choosing to overwhelm us, that we choose from the call of the soul. We come back into a lucid state of divine awareness, deeply grateful to know that something magnificent is only and always taking place in the mind and the life of God, of your soul. We remember the truth that all of us, born from the purity of this eternal light, born from this eternal magnificence, as we commune with the energy of the soul, we remember that there is not one piece of our eternal beingness that has ever struggled or experienced strife. All needs are met, have been met, and will always be met as we commune in this holy light. And so I'm grateful for this time together, grateful to know that expansion is taking place, that as we increase our divine energy quotient, we bless everything and everyone, for as we rise, all unto us rise. So we come back and we allow ourselves, as we open our eyes, to just take a moment and allow that energy to just tingle and mingle in your body temple. Grateful for all of this, and we just let it be. We say, Amen. All right, welcome back. As you stretch, as you integrate the energy from our meditation, we're going to prepare to get ready for our service, which is going to start in about 1.5 minutes or so. So if you need to use the restroom, now would be the time. We're going to go ahead and make a couple little shifts and changes on the set, and we'll be right back with you.
morning, Soul Center. It is my great joy to be with you this morning and to welcome every one of you perfect emanations of God. We're going to have a beautiful Sunday service, so thank you for joining us. And we do have a few announcements as usual, but the big one is that we're really working to get back together again, and we have so many people reaching out and asking when that's going to happen. We're really hoping for June. That would be realistic and possible, but it's not cast in stone yet. And in the meantime, we are asking for your help. As we've mentioned, that our coffers are low right now after the pandemic, which is completely understandable. But we're asking for you to help us with a Let's Get Back Together fundraiser, just to help us fund what it's going to take to put everything back together and secure a location and that kind of thing. And we're asking you to please resume your practice of sacred service by joining us on Sundays and serving. And the way to do that is to email info@soulcenteroc.com, and we'll let us know, what you're interested in, what position you'd like to step into, and it could be a greeter or a setup person or offering person. We have all kinds of possibilities. So please join us in both efforts so that we can get our beautiful, energizing, uplifting community back together again as soon as we can. And feel free to call or email that too with any questions. And it's really important during this time to remind everybody that we have a whole team of prayer chaplains available to help and support you and love on you when we might be going through a rough patch or have a challenge in our life. That's what they're there for. So all you have to do is email info@soulcenteroc.com, and we'll get that dispersed to all the prayer chaplains. And also, I always cannot say enough about Reverend Keith's morning affirmative prayer call every morning at 9:30 on Facebook Live. We really, really encourage you to either attend live or go back and watch it whenever it works for you in your day. But boy, does it make a difference in how the whole rest of your day goes. And every Tuesday night, Keely Beckwith's A Course in Miracles is just a beautiful, beautiful gathering and a deep, deep sharing of truth. And we invite you to that. You can drop in. And also, if you're interested in our soul circles, which are our small groups of like-minded people meeting at different times, we are taking a waiting list because we have to form some new ones. So please, again, email info@soulcenteroc.com so we can get you on the list. And when we have enough people, we'll be letting you know, and we'll open some new circles. Do encourage you to sign up for our newsletter on our website, just soulcenteroc.com. Then you find out about all these things and you don't miss anything. And it is my joy and my honor right now to invite prayer chaplain Andrea LeClaire up to officially launch our Sunday service.
Good morning. My name is Andrea LeClaire. Our reading this morning is from Agape's Inner Visions Daily Inspiration Guide, submitted by Yael Esther, and is entitled, I Am. There's a place in the heart where the energy of the Absolute and the personal consciousness of the individual intersect. This is where the divine connects to the expression that is each one of us. When I allow my attention to shift from my thinking to my heart, I become cognizant of this connection, and I experience the knowing, I am, I exist. This is pure awareness. This I am presence is with me wherever I am. Source is experiencing the wonders of its own creation through me, as each one of us. We are sense organs of the divine in this relative world. And it is here, at the intersection of the infinite and the human being, that there is peace. Always. At any moment in my journey, I can stop my thought, shift my attention from my head to my heart, and remember I am. And instantly, I am at peace. Here's where true happiness resides. Happiness is not found in the changing circumstances of this earthly adventure, its pleasures and pains, always in balance. Happiness comes from the realization that I am always and eternally connected to Source. I exist prior to thinking in a field of being. That is what I remember when I come back to my heart and recognize I am. Here I am, complete, whole, and self-content. And nothing in the manifestation can ever truly affect that. Let us pray. Whew, so grateful to connect with my Soul Center family. So beautifully grateful to connect with this benevolent community. And remembering now that there is one presence, one God, one grace, one divinity, that this divinity came before space and time and matter. It even became before my very breath. It exists in the ineffable space of I am. And in that I am, I realize that I too am existing in that same space, as are all of we. We are existing in this presence that is beauty, divinity, intelligence, harmony, prosperity, and sweet, sweet love. We cannot be separated in any way. We can connect through our breath, reminding us whose and whose we are, and in this coherence, we know, we absolutely know that we are the presence personified here on earth. And recognizing that, remembering that, anchoring that, I know today is a blessed day, that we are blessed and a blessing. I know that Reverend Keys comes here fully prepared. He has done the work, and he has done the work in his coherence, and that he is here to share his exuberance, his wisdom and wit, and all the wonderful eloquence that are ready to come through and from him. And we listen with our inner ear, we see with our inner eye, we feel with all of our inner senses, because we are attuned to this message, we are attuned to one another, we are attuned to this great awakening coming in through and as us today. And we have nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, because we know the way has been paved for us with ease and grace, that the steps are ordered, and we are here to make those steps in a manifest world. So thankful to remember it, thankful to remember this love, and so we let it be. Amen. All right, so now let's do our agape affirmation as a call and response. I'll speak a line, and then we'll repeat it all back together. With complete abandonment, I fly into the realm of pure spirit.
With complete abandonment, I fly into the realm of pure spirit.
Therefore, my moment-to-moment living is a prayer in action.
Therefore, my moment-to-moment living is a prayer in action.
My life burns with the fire and passion of divine love and perfect peace.
My life burns with the fire and passion of divine love and perfect peace.
I am awake to the dynamic power of spirit as my life.
I am awake to the dynamic power of spirit as my life.
As a divine center in the mind of God, I am divinely supplied and permanently prospered.
As a divine center in the mind of God, I am divinely supplied and permanently prospered.
I live and breathe the substance of well-being and the ecstasy of gratitude.
I live and breathe the substance of well-being and the ecstasy of gratitude.
And so it is.
So it is.
Now and forever.
Now and forever.
Amen.
Amen.
And oh boy, do we have a treat for you today. Lacey Johnson is here with us. Our wonderful, beautiful Lacey is back, so we kind of have our team back together. And she's got some beautiful music to share with you, so enjoy.
Hello again, my friends. I'm glad to be back. It's fun.
Yay.
With my crew, my friends. I know. So much of so much of this year has required us all to really be with ourselves and be loving ourselves and learning who we are. And I really wanted to pick some songs today that represented how strong we all are. So this one is called Brave. You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast, be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle neath the skin. Trapped on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy, falling for the fear and just disappearing, bow down to the mighty. Don't wanna run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big you're brave and say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Innocence or history of silence won't do you any good. Did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell me the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave for what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you.
Whoa! My goodness! More love! Yay, Lacey! Oh my God! This feels so good. Good morning, Soul Center. I was so excited to have Lacey in the house. It feels like we're getting closer. Lacey is kind of like, she's the sign that we're getting back. We're getting back. Good morning, Soul Center. If you're joining us for the very first time, I'm Reverend Keith, and I'm welcoming you to our Sunday service, where we allow ourselves to really go into a space of grace, to really surrender who we truly are, to allow ourselves to understand that the very basis, the very substance of life is bliss. Bliss is God. We are here to anchor in what all the mystical teachings of all the ancient religions have taught us, that I am as thou art as I am. I am that I am. I am bliss, I am joy, I am goodness. This is the very foundation of God. God is love, and all the teachings of the mystical order espouse this, and we choose to espouse this and grow as an agape affiliate, as part of the New Thought Ageless Wisdom teachings. We take into account the mystical and we incorporate it into our daily lives. We incorporate the eternal into space-time so that we can increase our bliss factor, that we can increase our divine energy quotient. And that's what you're here to do. You're not here to just come in and find your way to a 9 to 5 and then just work and get a couple baubles along the way and then say adios and out you go. That's not what you're here to do. You are here to experience and express your divinity, your mastery. There is an avatar, a master, a wise one, a great one within you that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It will blow your ego's mind, and we want to do that. We want to blow our minds with our own brilliance, which is the brilliance of the divine. And so the topic for today is to BYOB. Remember? I don't know if you remember, but I remember back in the olden days, back when I was in, you're in your 20s, but of course you didn't do this before you were 21, of course, because you would BYOB, you bring your own booze to a party. Remember that in the olden days when people, and you're young enough and people are on budgets and things like that. So you bring your own booze. Well, we're not here with BYOB as that. We are here with BYOB as bring your own brilliance. Bring your own brilliance everywhere you go. Are you bringing your brilliance to this relationship? Are you bringing your brilliance to your job? Are you bringing your brilliance to your spiritual practice? Are you bringing your brilliance to an awareness of your own body, temple, emotional body, and mental body? Are you bringing your brilliance? As I'm going to ask you to join me today to bring it. Bring your brilliance. BYOB your brilliance everywhere you go. That's actually what the spiritual practice and the evolution of your human experience is to continually come back to bringing your own brilliance and making sure that we understand that we are not to get distracted on the way. Oftentimes, as we're moving through life, distractions take us away from the ascension of our true nature. Everyone's here on the ascension. You're going to play with certain things. You're going to play with certain aspects of duality on your ascension. And there are going to be things that you'll do today that you won't do tomorrow because you're going to consciously choose to evolve into a greater you. There's a divine idea that comes right from the heart and the mind of God that shows up as your soulfulness. Some people call it purpose or passion, but there is a divinely precise idea of magnificence and brilliance of your life, and it is your job to make that personal. Nothing else personal. We're not to get distracted and take things personal. I was talking with somebody recently, and during the whole COVID experience, one of this couple I know, the husband, he was thankfully, or as far as he was concerned, gratefully, able to stay employed the whole way through, while his wife was let off from her job, and so they went through, as many people did, shifts and changes during. This was to open us up to things that are different. Now, as a sidebar on this conversation, there was a lot of people who were asked to explore different ways of being in the world, different employment, different passions, different purpose. And that's part of the gifts and the blessings that COVID brought. It was like, we're going to have to stop. We're doing a shakedown and a shake up to something greater, So she was unemployed, and so they said, you know what, let's just have an agreement that you take this time, we'll tighten our belts a little bit, we'll take this and do that and blah, blah, blah. And then after a little while, all of a sudden the husband was getting very resentful because he was working all day and she would be doing stuff, and one day he came home and the laundry wasn't quite done all the way. And he was getting resentful. Like, hey, if you're just going to be sitting around all day, you ought to be doing the laundry. Better, actually, because it was done and there was plenty of clothing to be had, but it wasn't done the right way. And then he was noticing, oh my God, there was a dish in the sink. Oh, well, you should be on top of this stuff. If you're not going to be working, then the unwritten agreement, because this wasn't really verbally spoken, the unwritten agreement was, I'll work, you'll take care of the house and explore other options as to what you would like to do in life. That was the unwritten agreement. That's where we sometimes jump to conclusions, where we might not be on the same page, which then opens us up to being distracted. So as we look at this a little bit further, then they were having little arguments, little spits and spats and tips and taps about how, oh, you should be doing this. And then she's like, well, you said blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, you should at least be doing this. And, you've got all this time on your hands. So he was getting very resentful. He was getting very distracted because there was no actual issue going on in terms of anything being undone or neglected or anything of that nature. What was happening was, because someone in his field had more time, more space to go and play or whatever it was that he had in his psyche, he was getting resentful because he was feeling the pressure of having to work. So then he started to blame. And he started to blame, and he had his eye on the temporal. He had his eye, and he was being distracted by the feelings were being associated with something that had nothing to do with actually what was going on in his energy field. So as we were talking, I said, oh, well, maybe let's not be distracted by the superficial or the temporal, and let's start paying attention to what this feeling truly means. And as we start to dive deeper inside, we go, oh, these resentments have nothing to do with your spouse and have everything to do with you feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, doing too much work, putting in too much effort. Those things were there, but prior to this, the couple was being distracted individually and collectively with everything they were doing, the machinations of daily life, going to do this, going to do that, making sure the bills were taken care of, making sure that this was taken care of, and so they were being distracted. We don't want to be distracted. We want to be bliss-tracted. Bliss-tracted means you're following your bliss, as Joseph Campbell would say. You're making yourself on track, that you have traction. So when you are distracted, you've lost traction from your path of growing into a greater and grander vision and version of who you truly are. So we don't want to allow the temporal world to distract us. Our traumas tend to build up. Then we have disassociation, which leads to distraction, which leads to the loss of traction, which can lead to a breakdown. And the kind of breakdowns that we want are to rise up into the breakthrough of who we truly are. What is it that's really seeking? Why am I really feeling resentful right here? If I wasn't feeling put upon, if I wasn't feeling the pressures of the world, then I would be okay. Like, hey, I would have more spaciousness, more like, hey, I can pitch in too, and wouldn't be feeling those energies of resentment. So we want to make sure that we don't get distracted by these temporal feelings, that we come into what's really going on. We want to remember, as it says in Scripture, that except the Lord build this house, then we labor in vain. Meaning that except that I put my energy into the divine in anything that I'm creating, including this relationship, that I'm laboring in vain. If I am laboring to prove a point, I labor in vain if it is belonged to the temporal world. And we want to make sure that we do not, that as we align our intentions with our desires, this will guide us so that we can have an understanding of what it is we're truly after. What he was truly after, it didn't matter. If she did the laundry perfectly, if the dish wasn't in the sink, he would have found something else, and it would have gone on until there's a revelation and a realization of what's really going on. So we sit and we be still, and we allow ourselves to surrender and remember, as Joel Goldsmith says, that have no dependence on person or things, but place all dependence on spirit. Don't put your dependence on your happiness, on your joy, on your prosperity, or anything of this world. Put it on spirit. Allow spirit to continuously guide you, which means we're going to give up being distracted. And remember that challenges are here to grow us, not to distract us. Oftentimes what happens, a challenge comes up. So the challenge in this situation was that the couple, they were having somewhat of a challenge with the loss of the job and the finances, and then got distracted instead of putting all the energy into inspiration, all the energy into witnessing what was going on in his emotional body. So we want to be clear that we move from distraction to blistraction. We allow ourselves to take the time. Take the time each day. Now, when we move into meditation, what a meditation does is it takes us outside of space-time and it rises us into a place of the eternal, that we may witness space-time, which allows us to witness what's going on, which allows us to do two things. One, when you come out of space-time and you rise up into your eternal nature, you're able to get the inspiration that would guide you to the choice that will align your intention with your desire. And then it allows you to also observe from divine right discernment what's really going on. So if he had stopped and sat there and said, okay, let me see, I'm feeling this energy of resentment, I'm feeling this energy of anger, or whatever it is, and he would sit with it and then, I rise into the observer. I rise into my soulful consciousness. I observe, like, this doesn't have anything to do with the laundry not being done or the dish not being clean. It has to do with me feeling too much pressure. Now, what had happened was the pressure was there as a couple. Before they actually, as we backtracked, we went in and we found out that both of them were feeling a little bit of pressure to provide individually. Then they come in together and get married, and now they're infusing that energy into the collective, because now they're sharing an energy field. There's his energy field, there's her energy field, there's their energy field, and all three of the energy fields, which are all one with each other, are holding the energy of having to effort too much. Because I'm being distracted, and because I'm working on this and that and trying to achieve this carnal goal and that temporal goal, I have lost track and alignment with my true desires, that which blissifies me, that which allows me to rise into a greater awareness and have more spaciousness in my life. So we need to choose that, and that is why when we do not heal our trauma. Now, almost everybody I know, I've met to varying degrees. There are people that have less traumas and some people that have more traumas. Now, that is not in a place of judgment. That is just in a place of, as you heal anything that's going on, any energetic imprint, any trauma, any worry, any doubt, any fear, any condition, anything that repeats itself that is not of high vibration, anytime you heal that, you lessen your attachment to the temporal world. It is almost as though, if you could imagine, let's just say here you are, and here's my issue. I have a fear of heights, I have a fear of spiders, I have resentment towards this person, and you can see these tethers or ties to my issues, and those tethers and ties tie you directly to time and space. And oftentimes when people say, there's the mind chatter when I sit to meditate, it's because those tethers and ties start to we're no longer being distracted. Now the light is beginning to shine, and they start to chitter and chatter a little bit. And it's at that point, that's when we have to say, okay, be still and know that I am. And then if you see those things, the ties hold us in time and space. But as you heal them, everything becomes exponentially easier to be still and to rise into your bliss. In order to follow your bliss, you have to A, choose it, and then heal anything that would come in conflict with your bliss. There are blisses that you have in your beingness that have yet to be realized, and they will come one after another should you choose to follow them and choose to be undistracted, to be bliss-tracted, so that you rise into a greater awareness of your true nature. There was another situation where this woman, her daughter was around 19, 20 years old, and she had just moved out and was, kind of moved out and had gone away to school. And they had a very wonderful relationship, but as can happen when teenagers get into that, late teens, early 20s, they become a little bit more independent. They had this very close-knit relationship, and then all of a sudden they had a little bit of a misunderstanding, which led to the daughter not wanting to talk to her anymore. And so the mom was very upset. I can't believe it. What did I do wrong? She started to get distracted, and she was starting to look for temporal ways to heal the relationship. Okay, what I need to do is I need to do this. I need her to call me. We need to set boundaries. We need to set rules. You need to check in so often, and et cetera, et cetera. And this actually was starting to push her away more. Being distracted by the temporal was actually creating a more division and more separation in their relationship, instead of be still and see, what am I to know about our relationship? One of the very first things is that having a connection with somebody on the phone or via email or via text on a regular basis does not create an intimate, cohesive relationship. A soulful connection with that person where you feel, I am connected with you eternally, you can't not be, and I am content in knowing that perfect harmony is right where we are, perfect reverence is right where we are, perfect respect is right where we are, and bringing that person into your awareness and creating a sacred cohesion and connection, and allowing yourself to be inspired as to what does this relationship need, and also taking, this is where the distraction, that if I don't hear from somebody, this sometimes happens in dating too, if I don't hear from somebody in 24 hours, or if I don't hear from them in 36 hours, oh my God, it's been 48 hours and I haven't heard anything, and I'm starting to get distracted because what my energy field, what my trauma is saying is, they don't love me. They must not care about me. I must not matter. I'm not important enough. That is being distracted. We want to go ahead and come back to being bliss-tracted, where we say, okay, all right, if that's how I feel, then that's what I'm letting go of. I'm letting go of not feeling important enough. I'm letting go of that I don't matter. I'm letting go of that. We surrender our burdens to the divine. This is part of the surrender process. This is part of growing in the holy light. This is part of life, period. We have to surrender those concerns. And we allow ourselves to say, okay. And we have to give a moment, because we know that the law of growth stipulates that things need to take time as they come into time. Into space-time, things take time. Now, how long that time takes matters not. It can be a nanosecond, or it can be a week or month or a year. We want to be so filled with a faith and a trust that we know all is well. Because a week, a month, a year of not communicating with somebody is nothing compared to the eternal connection that you share with them all the time. It's always there. Only the carnal, only the personality, only the ego is upset. And the minute you stop being distracted from the temporal world and you pay attention to what's going on here, boom, they come back. I've done it personally no less than 24 times, where it's like, okay, ooh, somebody just said something and that hurt. And I want to turn around and blame them. And it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. What is my soul? What is the truth that is seeking to reveal itself? that is happening. And when we open to that and we start to cultivate it, then we set the intention of having a sacred, holy relationship. Then we become inspired of how to make it sacred and holy. And it always starts at the beginning. And the beginning, which is where meditation takes us to, prayer takes us back to the beginning. In our affirmative prayer, we use gratitude as a way to get us to recognizing the divine. When you recognize the divine, you start to let go of time and space. When you let go of time and space, you move into a higher vantage point of understanding what is going on in your life, and you stop being distracted. We want to let go. We want to have divine traction so that we stay on track. We want to stay in that congruent field of ever-expanding good. We want to make sure that we know that challenges aren't here to destroy us, annoy us, or distract us. They're here to grow us into a greater, grander. Now, we've all seen this, if you set down rules and boundaries and you put those into place with any given relationship, if the underlying current, the energy exchange between the people. If I say, okay, because I am working, you need to do all the laundry, you need to make sure everything's meticulous and blah, 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 blah. If I put all those things in place, and I haven't gone to the eternal to qualify and activate a sacred holy relationship, then there will be no healing, and I am going to find something else that is wrong. I will be distracted by something else to prove that I don't mean enough, that I'm not important enough, or that I labor too much, or that it's too much heaviness in my life, that there's too much weight on my shoulders. This is inner work, people. Every one of us has to do our inner work and let go of resentments. Let go of irritations, let go of frustrations, let go of dislikes, and let go of the judgments and the justifications thereof that bring them. Because, but you don't understand. These are the facts. No, the facts have no place. Facts belong to time and space. Truth belongs to the divine. And we allow ourselves to be fully immersed in the truth. Because then what starts happening is, I guess they don't love me. I guess they don't love me because I'm doing all this work and I'm carrying all this resentment and I'm all pissy and upset. They must not love me. Time to get a divorce. No, that's not what's happening. What's happening now, there's also the false positive of all of this, where people are in a relationship and things are going good, but there's a certain level, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, meaning like we have the agreement, I'll do this and you do that, and as long as nothing cracks this delicately woven agreement, then everything will be fine. No matter what, no matter how good your relationship is, it can get deeper, better, greater, grander, and we want to say yes to that. That is our job, including the relationship with yourself. You've heard me say it a dozen or more times. This also applies to anything that might be going on in the body temple. So many times there's a diagnosis, maybe followed by a prognosis, maybe followed by a definition, whatever it is, and then I get distracted of what I'm supposed to do in the carnal temporal world. I've got to take these pills, I've got to do this regimen, I've got to do that. Now all of that is fine. It's all fine to do the things. Maybe I'm going to exercise more. Maybe I'm going to eat healthier. Maybe I'm going to do whatever it is from the outside temporal world. But we do not worship false idols. We do not worship, it is not the diet that is healing you. It is the divine and holding that energy within you that heals you. Now, to a degree, we can use belief to help us. Belief belongs to the temporal world. There's no need for beliefs in your soul. So if I believe with full 100% conviction, as we know by the placebo effect, that this pill or this food is going to heal me, then I will get some temporal relief, and I may even experience a healing to a degree. But the real healing comes in addition to that. So this isn't an either or. This is a this and. This and. I'm going to do this and I'm going to turn within and see, what is it that I need to know? How is it that I am to grow? What is the truth? And part of that is feeling, well, how does this situation, this issue in my body temple, my emotional body, my mental body, how do I feel about that? Now, when you analyze your feelings, you're not letting them distract you. You're letting them take you to the erroneous belief that you can then let go of and set yourself free. So if I were to ask you, of this past morning, or we'll just say this past week, all the decisions you made, for every choice point that you came to, whether it was what you're having for dinner, what you're having for lunch, who you're going to talk to, whether you answer the phone call or the text or not, or delay it or whatever, if all of those decisions you made over the past week, were they made from a temporal reaction, or were they made from divine inspiration? Did you go, oh yes, this is divinely inspired, and this is the direction I'm going with this? Or did you just have an automatic response to something where you have a reaction where it's like, oh, sometimes that looks like, oh, I got a text from, and you can kind of be like, I don't want to talk to them right now, and you kind of put it away, or like, I have to deal with that later. Those feelings right there, that's not natural. That doesn't belong to the divine. The divine isn't going, oh my God, here comes a prayer from Susie. Oh God, I'm going to have to deal with Susie later because, she gets on my nerves a little bit. That doesn't happen in the divine. When someone calls forward to be in the bliss of their divine nature, to commune with God, the universe says, yes, yay! Wholeness is happening. The angels rejoice, the universe rejoices, because the universe vibrates at yay and play. And so we want to say yes. And the way we get to yay and play is through pray. We pray into yay and play, meaning we want to rejoice in our own beingness and not be distracted by the temporal. So, we're going to go ahead right now, and we're going to make the intention that all my decisions, no matter what they are, I'm going to choose from my divine higher self, whatever it is. Now, sometimes that looks like, this has happened to me. I've shared this before, when the most profound experience, this has happened hundreds of times, where it's like, oh, I can feel the difference between when my ego wants to make a choice and take me this way, and my soul wants to take me this way, and my ego's going, no, you don't want to do that. Sometimes it's like, oh, you don't want to get up and go to the gym, or you don't want to do your spiritual practice today. That's what the ego is saying. And the soul's like going, come on, here we go, let's build those muscles, those spiritual muscles. And when I was in prac training and we did our internship programs, I can't tell you how many times we would have to go and do something for the betterment and the expansion of our own beingness that would better and expand the world. Whether it was going to a convalescent hospital or a prison or to feed the homeless or whatever it was that we were going out into the world to stretch. And there would be times where it was like, I don't want to do that. And it was like, do it anyway. You gotta do it anyway. So Nike says, just do it, and Reverend Keith says, do it anyway. When your soul tells you to do it anyway, and you're always gonna yield something magnificent. Every time I listen to my soul, when it says, do this, follow this, and I don't listen to the voice that was like, oh, I'm having a little hissy fit or a little temper tantrum. When I don't listen to that, when you do that which for the greater good, always, 100%, satisfaction guaranteed. You will be like, oh, wow, that was great. That was great. Now, because what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to do the things that are out of your comfort zone. It's going to ask you to do things that you don't like. And where did this dislike of said thing come from? It sometimes comes from a belief and a definition that it makes me feel bad. And so I don't want to do things that make me feel bad. So the shift is not being distracted. I don't want to do things that make me feel bad. That's a distraction. The distraction, oh, I listen to the distracting voice. No, don't do that. Don't go help the people. Don't go feed the homeless. Don't go into the convalescent hospital because you'll feel bad. And then you listen. And then all of a sudden it expands you and it dissolves. And there's a healing that takes place that expands your compassion to hold more good. So whether that's something as very common with all relationships, I've dealt with a lot of relationships over the years of people who get resentful about this or that or whatever with their spouse or their lover or their partner or whatever it is. And it's like, don't get distracted by those silly things. Get serious. Get bliss-tracted. Connect to your divine space. So we're going to set the intention that you're going to grow beyond your comfort zone, always listening to the call of the soul, to that providential voice. And that means that you're going to have to sign up for the classes that we offer, because that's part of how you can joyously expand yourself. We create all the classes we have at Soul Center, they're designed to create a cocoon so that you have a place where when you come up against one of these things, you can gently and safely let it go so that you can then expand into greater good. Not so that you can hold on to the way you've always been. That's the definition of insanity. We don't want to do that. So we're going to set the intention that we're going to grow. When we come back into service, we ask, part of our New Thought Ageless Wisdom teachings is that we invite you to participate in your conscious evolution so that you are the master. It's not so much about us giving you the teachings, it's about you seeking and finding the meaning of the teachings. That it makes it personal in your beingness. So that's what we're saying yes to. That's why we want to participate. So if you have spent less time over the past week, month, year listening to the call of the soul than you have to from the wants of the ego, and then we are going to set the intention to shift the balance. We are making our way over to surrendered states of being, which allow us to live from our bliss. So we have that agreement right now, and I'm grateful that you're going to join me as we move into the prayer field. Oh, how good it is to know that something only and always wonderful is taking place in life, in God, in goodness. For the kingdom of heaven is right here. It is right here surrounding us. It is infused within us. It is omnipresent. It is omnipotent. It is bliss, joy. This is the very nature of life. This is the very nature of God. And we allow ourselves to return home, and we proclaim and declare that there is no habit, there is no belief, there is no idea, there is no pattern great enough to keep us from our good. We choose to surrender today, which means we remember the truth of who we truly are. You are a divine emanation of the Most High. I am a divine emanation of the Most High. We are created, born from the light, the love, the heart, the mind of God, and we choose to allow that effulgent energy to radiate itself, to magnify itself. We choose to allow that to grow and glow, that we bring our brilliance everywhere we go. We allow the brilliance of divine right choosing, of divine right listening, of divine right knowing to have its way. We are done with distraction, and we are allowing ourselves to be aligned with the traction of the divine that keeps us on point, that keeps us on purpose, that keeps us in joy, that keeps us in bliss. We say yes to that brilliance of our own divinity right here, right now. I'm truly grateful to know that each of us has everything. The brilliance is coded in our DNA. It is coded in our genes and cells. We choose to feel it, see it, seek it, find it, know it, express it, give it, and receive it. We say yes to 360 degrees of joy, 360 degrees of clarity, 360 degrees of peace and love and wellness and goodness. And we do not tarry in the temporal. We do not get distracted by the resentments. We allow ourselves to be so lifted in the forgiving, beautiful energy of transmutation that we rise and thrive. Rise and thrive in every area of our lives. I am grateful to know that each of us is saying yes to our brilliance today and always. Ever expanding good is what we choose to anchor. We do so as we rise into a place of divine strength even more. We allow it to radiate itself, the brilliance from within to shine itself. And as we rise, all unto us rise. And we say yes. We say yes to more prosperity, more clarity, more joy, more providence, more divine awareness than ever before. We ground these energies and we relinquish any habit, any idea that would keep us from this. Any distractions, we let them all go as we surrender into the joy, the grace, the brilliance, and the beauty of our divinity. We bless everything and everyone. We bless all peoples of all cultures, of all nations around the globe. We bless our friends and our family members. We bless everybody on our prayer list right now. We bless every sentient being on the planet, including our beloved animals that live in our homes and that live on the land and swim in the oceans and fly in the sky. We bless all dimensions of all incarnations. We let everything be good. We let it all be magnificent. And we ground it, bringing that energy down through your legs, into your feet, to your Earth star. Once again, following the law of creation, we ground it, and we agree in divine receptivity, thankfully, and with deep appreciation to allow it to be. In acceptance, we say, and so I let it be, and so it is. Amen, 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 ashe, aho, mahalo, shalom, and hotep. All right. So just taking a moment and just letting that have its way through you as we prepare to move into our time of tithing. Remember, we're in our fundraising right now. We are wanting to bolster the coffers so that we can get into that brilliant place as we come back, knowing that God is our source and our supply. So I'm going to ask you two things. As we move into our tithing time, you can, of course, as it says on the screen, text the word GIVE to area code 669-342-2157. You can mail a check. The mailing address is on the screen right there. You can go to our website, soulcenteroc.com. You can hit the donate button. I promise you, as you participate in tithing, as you participate in circulation, it comes back to you. It comes back to you minimally tenfold. Those are the ways you can support our community, and we're trying to go above and beyond what we've been taking in of late so that we can really practice thriving. So the two things I'm asking you to do, if it calls to your heart, if you listen to your soul, remember we're listening to the soul, not the ego, please go ahead and prepare your tithe, your offering. We appreciate all the donations. And also hold it in your consciousness. See Soul Center as all needs met. And that means as Soul Center is all needs met, we're also holding it individually. Individually, all needs met. All creative passion, absolutely nurtured and empowered and satiated. For we are a community of divine satiation. We say yes to this. And with that, as you prepare and take care of your tithing, we're going to bring back Jesse, Brian, and Lacey for our next song.
Hello again. So as we all know, when we're mindful, we always have the answers within us, even if we haven't seen it for ourselves yet. And this song is to remind us that we were born that way. Mama told me when I was young, we were all born superstars. She pulled my hair, put my lipstick on, in a glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause it made you perfect, baby. So hold your head, girl, and you'll go far. Going my way, got me through mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't have to tell me regret. Just love yourself and you said I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby. I was born this way. If it's self-prudence and love your friends, Subway kid, rejoice your truth. The religion of the insecure, I must be myself, respect my you. A different lover is not a sin. Leave capital H-I-M. I love my life, I love this record, and me, I'm over it if I am. I'm beautiful in my way, got to throw mistakes, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't have to tell anything, just tell me you stay. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way, born this way. Ain't no other way, baby, I was born, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, chola descent, you're Lebanese, you're Orient. Whether life disabilities left you outcast, burrito tease, rejoice and love yourself today, cause baby, you were born. Nobody can simplify, let's be a trenches alive. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to survive. No matter black, white, or beige, chola or Orient beige, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to be brave. I'm beautiful in my way, got me thrown straight. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't have to tell me anything, just tell me you say. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way, yeah. There ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way, born this way. There ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way, yeah. I was born this way, hey, I was born this way, hey. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way, hey. Say it with me, I was born this way, hey, I was born this way, hey. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way, hey. I was born this way, hey, I was born this way, hey. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Thank you.
Yes, ladies in the house. Oh, Soul Center. I was born this way. Forgive me. I was trying to read, what's that one line? I was born this way, and there's no other way. Something. Anyway, we're born to pray. That's what I was headed for. There's no other way
I was born to pray.
to pray. Hey, that's what we're going for, Soul Center. Okay. Excuse me. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and come back to center. And we're going to get into the prayer field, which means we're going to bless the offering. Which means as we're holding and extending our heart through our hands, our prayer through our hands, we're holding a space. Not only a space in consciousness, but a space that reveals itself for our home, the space and everything necessary to fulfill that. Everything, all the resources, all the finances, everything necessary. We take a moment in deep and abiding gratitude, knowing something wonderful is taking place, always in the life and the mind of God. Something wonderful is taking place here during this service. This is an activation, activating more good. We activate it. This is how we consciously participate in our evolution at the human level, is we activate the good. Activate our brilliance. The brilliance, you know, the whole song that she was singing, Born This Way. You were born from the heart, the mind, the light, and the love of God. So you say yes as we bless everything and everyone. We bless this offering, knowing that as we circulate, we expand. That is the sacred spiral. It circulates and it expands, just growing and growing and growing. So we say yes to this. We bless this offering. We allow it all to be good and deep and abiding thanksgiving. We simply say, so it is. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We're moving into our peace song. We're going to sing out Soul Center. So if there's anybody you need to grab, go ahead and grab them, hold hands, and we're going to close out.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song of love. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
And as we continue in this field of this elegant, brilliant field of omnipresent, magnificent, how grateful I am, even more than ever before for this community, that we have all said yes to rising and growing and expanding in benevolent, brilliant, and beautiful ways, that we are saying yes to our brilliance radiating. We bring our own brilliance everywhere we go. We speak of high conversation, of blessings, of joy. We don't take things personally except for the holy light of the divine. This is what we espouse. This is what we arouse. This is what we allow to be. Grateful to know that we have said yes individually and collectively to thriving. This is what we have proclaimed. This is what we are allowing. In deep and abiding thanksgiving and appreciation, we accept even greater good than ever before. So it is. So we let it be. Amen.